Hello and welcome to Wisdom Library. What I'm about to share with you today will completely change how you think about friendship and success. But first, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. Picture this. It's 3 a.m. and you just received devastating news that turns your world upside down. You're scrolling through your phone, looking at hundreds of contacts, thousands of Instagram followers, and countless social media connections. But here's the terrifying question. Who would you actually call? Who would drop everything to be there for you without expecting anything in return? If you hesitated to answer that question, you're not alone. We live in the most hyper-connected era in human history, where we can communicate with anyone, anywhere, at any time. Yet, paradoxically, we're experiencing an epidemic of loneliness that's literally killing us faster than smoking or obesity. Here's a statistic that will shock you. Recent studies show that chronic loneliness increases your risk of premature death by 50%. That's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And despite having more ways to connect than ever before, 73% of Gen Z reports feeling lonely, and 61% of young adults feel seriously lonely most of the time. But here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. A philosopher who lived 2,400 years ago, before smartphones, before social media, before the internet even existed, not only predicted this exact crisis, but also gave us the blueprint to solve it. His name was Aristotle, and what he discovered about friendship will change your life forever. In modern society, we're obsessed with becoming what we call insiders, networking with hundreds of people, taking perfect verification photos at trendy spots, and maintaining an impossibly active social calendar. We've been sold the lie that success equals being connected to everyone, everywhere, all the time. But here's the brutal truth that social media influencers don't want you to know. While we're busy collecting followers like trophies, real human connection is dying. Lonely deaths in developed countries are skyrocketing. Over 3,600 people died completely alone in 2023 in Japan alone. This is the haunting reality of our connected world. Aristotle, writing in his masterwork, the Nicomachean Ethics, made a statement so profound it should be carved into every smartphone. No one would choose to live without friends, even if he had all other goods. Think about that for a moment. He's saying friendship is more valuable than money, fame, success, or any material possession we chase. Here's what's incredible. Aristotle dedicated 2 entire books, 1/5 of his entire philosophical work, to friendship alone. While modern self-help gurus give friendship a chapter or two, the greatest philosopher in history made it the centerpiece of human flourishing. That should tell you everything about how catastrophically wrong our priorities have become. Aristotle explained friendship by dividing it into 3 types, and understanding these will expose the shocking truth about why most of your relationships are doomed to fail. The first is friendship based on utility. These are relationships we form because we're helpful to each other. Workplace colleagues, business partners, gym buddies who spot you. These relationships exist purely for mutual benefit and disappear the moment that usefulness ends. The second is friendship based on pleasure, relationships where we bond over shared experiences, entertainment, or fun activities. Party friends, hobby groups, drinking buddies, or people you binge Netflix with fall into this category. But here's the harsh reality. When your interests change, your age changes, or your circumstances shift, these friendships naturally fade away because they were built on temporary common ground. The third type is what Aristotle called complete friendship, based on virtue. And this is where everything changes. This isn't about what someone can do for you or how much fun they are. This is about genuinely loving and respecting another person's character, their integrity, their values, their very essence as a human being. You're drawn to them not for personal gain, but because of who they fundamentally are. But here's the revolutionary part that will blow your mind. Aristotle said such friends cannot be numerous, and modern science proves he was absolutely right. Why? Because people with genuinely excellent character are incredibly rare. Moreover, building the deep understanding, trust, and vulnerability required for this level of friendship takes enormous time, emotional energy, and life experience that most people simply aren't willing to invest. Aristotle described true friends as another self. Imagine a relationship so deep that your friend's joy becomes your joy, their pain becomes your pain, their victories feel like your victories, and their struggles become your struggles. This isn't codependency, it's the highest form of human connection where two souls become intertwined while maintaining their individual identity and growth. Modern science actually supports this ancient wisdom in ways that will absolutely astound you. Professor Robin Dunbar from Oxford University discovered that humans can maintain meaningful relationships with about 150 people maximum. But here's the kicker. Among those, the most intimate, life-changing relationships number only about 5 people. This means 99% of your connections are essentially meaningless when it comes to true fulfillment. Now, here's where this gets incredibly practical and life-changing. Recent psychological research reveals that people with deep, authentic friendships cope better with stress, have stronger immune systems, sleep better, and live significantly longer. But here's the shocking part. The health benefits of having one true friend are equivalent to quitting smoking 15 cigarettes a day, exercising regularly, and maintaining a healthy diet combined. So how can we cultivate this life-changing, health-boosting, soul-nourishing type of friendship that Aristotle discovered 24 centuries ago? First, and this might sting, we must completely transform ourselves before we can recognize and attract true friends. You cannot give what you don't have, and you cannot recognize virtue in others if you haven't cultivated it within yourself. This means ruthlessly developing qualities like radical honesty, unwavering loyalty, genuine empathy, and moral courage. Most people avoid this hard work because it requires confronting their own flaws, insecurities, and character defects. But here's the truth. Becoming the kind of person worthy of true friendship is the most important investment you'll ever make in your life. Second, you must completely flip your relationship strategy from quantity to quality. Instead of trying to network with hundreds of superficial connections, you need to identify the few people in your life who have excellent character and invest deeply in those relationships. This means having uncomfortable conversations, being vulnerable about your fears and dreams, and showing up consistently even when it's inconvenient. Third, we need to revolutionize how we spend time together. Stop wasting precious moments on mindless small talk, endless social media scrolling, or superficial activities that keep you distracted from real connection. Instead, create sacred spaces for meaningful dialogue where you can explore each other's deepest values, biggest fears, wildest dreams, and most profound struggles. This is where transformation happens. Fourth, here's something that might surprise you. You must learn to use technology as a tool, not as a substitute for genuine intimacy. Social media can help you stay connected, but it should never replace face-to-face vulnerability, physical presence during difficult times, or the irreplaceable magic of sharing silence together. Real friendship happens in real life, not through screens. The evidence for this is overwhelming and will change how you see relationships forever. Harvard's Grant study, which followed subjects for over 80 years, found that the quality of our relationships is the single most important factor in our happiness and health. People with strong friendships are not only happier, but also live longer, have stronger immune systems, and even earn more money throughout their lives. But here's the part that most people get completely wrong. Building these friendships isn't about being more likable, more charming, or more popular. It's about becoming more authentic, more courageous, and more willing to show up as your real self, even when it's uncomfortable. True friends don't love your perfect image, they love your imperfect humanity. So let me challenge you with something radical. What if instead of trying to be liked by everyone, you focused on being truly known by a few? What if instead of collecting followers, you invested in becoming a person worth following? What if instead of networking for advantage, you built relationships for transformation? This isn't just friendship advice. This is a blueprint for a completely different way of living. Starting today, I want you to do something that will terrify and liberate you simultaneously. Reach out to someone in your life who you respect deeply. Not someone who can do something for you, but someone whose character you genuinely admire. Have a conversation that goes beyond surface-level pleasantries. Ask them about their struggles, their dreams, their fears, their values. Be willing to share yours too. Remember this. In a world obsessed with going viral, building a personal brand, and accumulating digital validation, choosing to invest deeply in a few authentic relationships is the most countercultural, revolutionary act you can perform. One true friend who knows your heart is worth more than 1,000,000 strangers who only know your highlight reel. Aristotle discovered 24 centuries ago what modern science is just beginning to understand. Friendship isn't just nice to have, it's literally a matter of life and death. Your relationships will determine your happiness, your health, your success, and ultimately how long you live. Choose them wisely, invest in them deeply, and watch your entire life transform in ways you never thought possible. Thank you for taking this journey into the deepest wisdom about human connection. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who matters to you, not for the algorithm, but because they deserve to know how much they mean to you. Until next time, choose depth over breadth, quality over quantity, and authentic connection over empty networking. Your future self will thank you.